Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Wednesday, February 22nd. Give me a sound check if you would, please. And say hello in the comments. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries significant risks and should be considered only with funds that you can afford to do without. All right. All right, now we should have sound. All right, so we've got crude, gave us some trouble. Unleaded is doing well now. It actually started off with, yep, well, looks like we got into that long. This long was too early. Hit money management right around our start time. So yellow long is our first trade on unleaded. Good morning, Jeff. And let's see here. And we stopped and reversed here at 34 and stopped and reversed back again to long at 48. And then a third stop and reverse back to short at 24. And that one has been successful, getting us both targets 1 and target 2. And is trailing nicely. Trailer now at 26 at 6106. Or yeah, no, 6096. And did we? Nope, missed the stop by 1 tick. All right, market is open. YM is flat, looking for a trade. Soybeans just picked up a short trade. Plenty of time to get into that. That looks like it's an 8-tick target. And the Russell. Yeah, that's That's a valid long trade. Yeah, and you got a wick there, so you got into that, and looks like we just stopped out intra-bar on that one for a break even. And unleaded stopping out at 6081. I don't know that will have gotten us positive or not, but soybeans hitting target 1 and target 2, so 8 and 13 ticks. This will be the POQ trade on soybeans this morning. Alright, so let's see what we got. 62.91 to 62.35 or 34. 91 to 34 is 57. So 104 down right off the bat, or 114, excuse me. 34 to 48 is another 28. So 145. And 48 to 24. Yeah, 48 to 24 is 24, or another 48. So we're down 193 coming into this trade. Target 1 picks up 36, target 2 picks up 56. We trailed 81. And a short on the YM, 07. EMA's at 06. I would pull it down to 04, and it's still triggered in. So the YM is short. Soybeans is short. Unleaded is flat at the moment. We went $62.24 to $60.81, 143. So we're down 50. So still looking for another trade on unleaded. We are in the April contracts on crude and unleaded. Soybeans did transition to the May contract. Volume moved. So I'm charting the May contract now. Money management and target 1 on the YM. Soybeans with target 3, yes, target 3 on soybeans. So 21, 31, 39, 39 ticks, and just about to start trailing there. YM is trailing 33, 196. That was a small trade. It was 16 tick target 1, so we go to target 2 at 25. And 93 for the current stop. And a short on unleaded. $60.47. We're needing 50 on target 2. Target 1 is going to need 70. All right, no crude oil inventory session today because of the Monday holiday. That is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Soybeans, 37.5 for the stop. YM stopped out at 193, ending the session one and done. Crude, we hadn't covered that yet, got in sync with this early long trade that came up and touched money management, came back for a break-even stop. One tick there, 2 ticks actually. Then we pick up a short at 75.87. That stays short for a while. The stop and reverse is at 76.08. Ultimately does stop and reverse, comes up and hits money management, doesn't hit target again, and a 1 tick stop out at 76.09 for our 3 trades this morning. So we had 4 ticks total on the 2 break-evens, and we went from 87 to 08. So 1321 ticks. We lost 42 on that one, so 34 tick net loss today. Stop and reverse trade here on the entry there is 81, so that goes to 86, and I believe that we may not have gotten triggered into that yet. Nope, we got there exactly, it looks like. Yep, high was 86, so possibly avoidable, but just depending on how long it took to get orders in. And a full stop out at that. Hopefully it was avoided. And that was trade number 6. So that ends the session. And the Russell with another long trade. Lots of time to get into that. And micro NQ, 4-minute wait, puts us somewhere in that down bar. And I'm going to assume that we did not get into that long trade. Short trade. Unfortunately, plenty of time to get into that. That's a full loss. And we pick up the long trade. Russell is a big trade, and so it's trailing now 02.029. And the MNQ is in the long trade. It's like 034 now for the stop, and hitting money management, I believe, and I believe we should be have our 14 tick. We definitely got our 14 ticks. So we come to 037 for the stop, intra-bar. And it looks like it, yeah, it's going to come to 038 on trailing. And that is that's right, that's this. We're trailing the 10 EMA. Money management on micro NQ as well. 054 for the trailer. And I would take target 2 for a profit here on this bit larger than usual trade. So we get target 2. $95.04 for the trailing stop, and a stop out for, well, no, actually the micro NQ. Was that a, no, that was a standard trade. So micro NQ, I was looking at the wrong one. Didn't get to its money, quite to its money management yet. 63.75. No, 64.25 is target 1 in money management. And 96.03 or 0.63 rather for the Russell, hitting target 3. So targets 2 and 3 on this larger trade. Er, 19.06.3 for the current stop. YM was one and done. Soybeans was one and done. It did stop out at 37.50. So getting 3 ticks on the trailer to go with our 39 ticks, 42 ticks net. And that gives us 10.5 points, or about $525 for single contract positions. Yeah, okay. Crude oil stopped and reversed to short at, we got in the long, that stopped and reversed to short at 84, which then stopped and reversed back to long at 08. No, that's right. It didn't stop and reverse. It was a break even. We pick up the short at 87. Stop and reverse at 08. That went to money management as well. That's right. We were down 34 on the day there. So we'll come forward and watch for the 10 a.m. session coming up. But since we do not have a crude oil inventory report this morning. Now we've got money management on micro NQ. 147.5 for the break-even stop. Good morning, Don. All right. So watching our market indices right now on Catapult, Micro Russell, the M2K in the upper left, and MNQ, also Catapult on a custom Renko, 12-point brick, 48 ticks with a 12 tick or 3-point offset. The Micro Russell is a 1.5-point brick, 15 ticks with a half-point or 5-tick offset depending on your platform. And the Russell stopping out at 0.68. So that's the first trade on the Russell this morning. Or no, actually that's the second. Our first trade was a break even intra-bar. So Russell with a break even and a solid win. Trying to get up to target 2 on the Micro NQ, but we've got money management, so we are at break even. Stop is at 147.5. Looks like we have several people joined us a little bit late. I'm back after technical difficulties yesterday. On OBS today rather than Lightstream, because that Lightstream's still not working. And just kind of watching things slowly develop. Pound Aussie I'm not looking at this morning because I've got a data problem. I'm missing a few days of data there. When I restarted and got it back going again, I'm missing Monday and Tuesday's data. Or Monday and Tuesday's historic data anyway. And stopping out for a break even on the Micro NQ. Short trade on both the Russell, Micro Russell and the Micro NQ. Triggering into the short on the Micro NQ. Russell, move your entry down a tick, actually down 2 ticks. It spiked through. So move it down to 0.52. Lots of time to get in on the micro NQ, so we are in this one. One loss, one break even on the micro NQ, and that's loss number 2. And avoided the trade on the micro Russell. And almost 10 minutes, about 8 minutes to go for our crude inventory, or for our 10 a.m. crude session today. The Russell and the MNQ both flat at the moment. Crude kind of taking off there. That trade has obviously gone too fast to be on our radar for the 10 a.m. session. A little over 5 minutes to go. And now a short that's popped through too fast to catch, but it's coming back to the entry level. Okay, Jeff, now go ahead and I've been as far as equities and options go, I've been a customer of Interactive Brokers for over 15 years. Now, the equities and options part, definitely Interactive Brokers for me. I'm currently trading futures on Interactive Brokers, and you can trade futures and Forex there. My only issue with trading futures with Interactive Brokers is that they basically are running the same margin requirements as the CME, or very close to it, and ultimately I get, if you're just trading a single market at 2%, no issue. No, just go. I would stay with IB at that point. When you get to the point of looking to go When you say more expensive, it's not that it's more expensive. It's just the margin requirements. You have to have more. They require more funds to back up the trade, but for a 2% risk trade, it's not a problem. So it's not really an issue. It's not really a cost thing. In fact, they're actually, commission-wise, they're actually less expensive than TradeStation for futures. And in fact, TradeStation has got I understand TradeStation's margin requirements have gotten to the point where they're actually pretty close to Interactive Brokers. A number of the other, well, actually no. When you get into a bunch of contracts, you still are not going to be. You shouldn't be risking more than 2% of your account. So it's not an issue. It's when you get into multiple markets and you've got trades going in multiple markets at the same time. So you end up with, say, maybe 4% of your account involved. That's when you'll start getting into issues with the margin. You won't be able to trade more than one market at a time. So that's why I say when you get to the point where you're wanting to add trade plans that may, you aren't necessarily going to typically try to get into situations where you've got multiple trades going at once. But and the other side of that too is if you're trading, several different products in the same account, you've got to account for, okay, are you using up some of your margin with equities and options, and what is the amount that you're allocating to futures, or are you if you're allocating the whole account, then 2% may push you out of the margin range. So what you may have to do is set up separate accounts with Interactive Brokers to keep your pots of money separate, as it were, and or just do an internal allocation on your own within those. If you get to, as I say, looking at trading multiple markets, I would look at NinjaTrader brokerage. You either they use Dorman Trading or Phillip Capital for U.S.-based accounts. Their intraday margins are, for the E-minis are, $500 to $1,000 per contract. For the micros is, $50 to $100 per contract. So it's a non-issue. You just have to just want to follow your own money management. Short trade on the Russell 029, and that just did trigger in. And we're just about to get the 10 a.m. crude session. This short has gone too far. The DAX, I think you can definitely trade that. You just have to make sure you have access to the Eurex through the particular broker that you're dealing with, and that usually is going to cost you an additional fee in data. Good morning, Pamela. If you're on Interactive Brokers, I definitely would use Kinetic, or use an external feed for your data. IB's data stream is a filtered data stream, so it's definitely not what we want to use for day trading. And the Russell target 3, and our trailer is at 028. Now the mini DAX, I think it's FDXM or something like that. Might also be a possibility. It's not quite. The DAX is a pretty rich market because it trades in half euro ticks. So it can be, and the euro is, it's what, 25 ticks or 25 euros per point on the DAX. Yeah, that's definitely big. And with half point ticks, you're talking about 12.5 euros per tick. $1,900.6 for the Russell, hitting targets 2 and 3. So you have break-even, win, loss, and a second winner on the Russell. You have 2 losses and a break-even on the MNQ. Forex, that's a tough one to call. I traded a little bit of Forex on Interactive Brokers, and my issue there is there again, their margin requirements are pretty tight, are pretty conservative, so their margins are fairly a little bit higher than what you can find elsewhere. So right now, my choice, and this is not a choice that's available now, but I was able to get into Owanda with a direct feed to NinjaTrader when Ninja Brokerage was an introducing broker. So I'm holding on to that with dear life. And I can only set up, I've only got the one account that I set up at the time. I can't set up additional accounts tied to NinjaTrader. So what I'm thinking about doing is transitioning my swing trading over to MT4, to an MT4 account on Owanda, and just do my day trading in the Owanda account on NinjaTrader. But so if you're going NinjaTrader, it's worth the extra $500 or so. Actually, it's $550 now to go with a multi-broker license. If you have some time, try to watch for a sale, because NinjaTrader will do a sale. They'll give $100 off on the single broker license, or like up to $300 off on a multi-broker license. So typically they're $1,100 or $1,099 and $1,649, and they'll give $100 off for single and a $300 for multi, so you can get to basically $999 for a single broker license, or $1,349 for a multi-broker license, or I'm sorry, yeah, $1,349 for multi-broker license. And that would be the way that I would go if you can wait for that. Yeah, and that's because both TradeStation and NinjaTrader exited the Forex broker market. So unless you have, there are some choices on NinjaTrader. In US, I think it's Forex. I forget who who the broker is now that they're introducing the U.S. It used to be FXCM, but the FXCM basically got booted out of the U.S. market by regulators. I think it's forex.com. I'm not sure. But I've got, as I say, my setup is with Awanda. You cannot do that right now. I really hope that Awanda gets an agreement with NinjaTrader for getting their data back on NinjaTrader. Yeah, but there are not a lot of them that tie directly into NinjaTrader, and that's what really makes it nice. Is I have all my charting in one place, and I can all my charting and all my day trading in one place. I really would prefer my swing trading in the same place, but such as it is. Actually, you know, if I were going to put my forex swing trading out on a virtual private server, or virtual server, then I probably would end up having to buy another NinjaTrader license to do that. So doing that with MT4 probably is a better way to go anyway. I think there's only one or two forex brokers that can connect directly to NinjaTrader right now. And of course, there are none you can connect directly to TradeStation, so that is what it is. But while it's convenient to trade everything out of Interactive Brokers, it's not necessarily fiscally practical to do it the way we would prefer to do it. You're basically going to, unless you segregate your funds a little bit in multiple accounts on IB, you're likely to run into margin issues. Because they are a bit more conservative and not really geared toward day traders, so, or at least not towards futures day traders. All right, talking through all of that, crude got into a long trade, and looks like that's the third time this morning crude's hit money management and not a target. It did it twice in the 9 a.m. session and then the first trade of the 10 a.m. session. Russell with a nice short trade. So that's kind of my thoughts. I went NinjaTrader because I was already an IB customer and I could connect direct to IB with NinjaTrader. And I don't regret that decision. Short trade on crude. That bounced through 7 seconds. Yeah, probably too fast to catch. And hitting money management, so that's a no trade. Alright, Russell stopping out on the trailer, 1894.6. From the entry at 1902.9. 29 to 94.6. So we got 18.2 points, or 3.3. So 183 tick trailer. No, I'm sorry. That's just 8. So it's an 83 tick trailer. That's still a nice trailer with target 3 and 4 plus 83 ticks. And a long trade, 33. What? No, that's okay. We did get target 1 on crude. That was, and stopping out at money management, 75.43. All right, stopping out or break even stop actually. So we got 14 ticks on target 1 and another tick. So we got 2 on the first trade and 15 on the second, 18 ticks for a one and done session. Not a lot of trades on Russell and MNQ this morning. And that's just one, let's see, yeah, 1, 2, that one was avoided, that one was, yeah, that one was avoided, so 1, 2, 3 trades, 2 winners. MNQ with 3 trades, but it's been 2 losses and 1 break even. And unfortunately, that beautiful short trade got taken out by that spike up on the second bar. All the way to the full stop before continuing down. Any other questions this morning? Soybeans blue trade. You're talking about there's not a blue trade on soybeans in Counterpunch. It's just green, white, and magenta. Are you on Spotlight on soybeans, Neil? But yeah, this purple trade should be good, but we were one and done with this trade right at, okay, yeah. We should have been one and done with the green trade right here, right at 9:30. Actually 8:30 exchange time, because it is traded out of Chicago. Hit all 3 targets and got 3 ticks on the trailer. Yeah, it was, you had what, 20, at least on my chart, 27 seconds on that first bar. So definitely should have been in that one. But yeah, looks like you may probably avoided this long trade, but the purple long is that's a second chance. That's a good trade. That's a second chance trade. Your exhaustion dots were lower than 1, but higher than the second one back. So that's where your purple trade comes from. If you miss the system trade that went POQ, your rules are up to you, but I would suggest that if you missed a trade, the system went POQ, and I step aside if I miss a POQ trade. Miss the trade that would have gotten me POQ, and I assume that I still got POQ and step aside, because if I continue trading, you're no longer trading what you tested. So even if I miss this trade, I would step aside if I were trading soybeans. I would like to trade, I try to trade the YM at sometimes, but because of the room, I typically don't get to trade it, because the session starts the same time the trade room starts. So I'm looking at other charts as much or more than I'm looking at that. That should be this one here. Actually, at the time, yes, because you were still long. However, once that stopped out, it should become a get in sync, which it didn't do. But once the stop and reverse stops out, then it becomes a valid trade. But yes, that's filtered by the hybrid mode, because in the short trade against the trend mode indicator, which was definitely red, that is a filtered trade. But that would be a valid once the short trade stopped out on the trailing stop, then that becomes a valid trade. And it would pull back, and you could have gotten it back over here, but you'd have had to have tracked it manually. Then you pick up a new Okay, this one is a squeeze. Actually, there's two reasons for that. That's a squeeze zone trade as well, so it would not have become valid again. It was a hybrid mode. It was hybrid mode filtered when it first set up, but it's also squeeze zone filtered. So it's not going to, neither one of those, that would be the white trade, and then you'd have a green trade here that was also filtered because of the squeeze zone, because you're not in a trade at that point, so hybrid would not make a difference. But that first green, so I've got a filtered trade here. That's both hybrid mode and squeeze zone. This is squeeze zone only, and then you have the trade sets up above the 50, which is not filtered, and that's because it's not in the squeeze zone anymore. And the same is true here. If this set up, EMA is at 48, and the setup is at 50. So yeah, just barely above the 50 EMA. So it's not in the squeeze zone. And right now it looks like that may not have a squeeze zone at all. Well, as I say, if it were me, no, I wouldn't be taking that. The green trade would have been a valid trade, and the purple is valid as well. But I would not take either one of those, because the system the system that I'm trading, or would be trading, the trade plan is already POQ, even though I missed the trade. I'm not going to go in and take random trades just because I missed the trade I was supposed to take. Or just I'm not going to just take the next trade, because that's not the way I would have tested the system. All right, the MNQ with a long trade. Now 14 seconds to the entry bar, so that's no problem on that one. Now it's one thing if it went through too fast. You know, if it's not tradable, then you don't count it at all. It's not a valid system trade. But that trade didn't go through too fast. It went from 11 to 38, so you had 27 seconds in that bar. There's no reason that you shouldn't have had an order in on that, or at least on my chart, unless you just weren't paying attention. And I've been known to get caught with that on crude, or on the course on the YM, especially in the room where I'm looking somewhere else. And the Russell with a long trade also. Money management. Okay, 10 seconds to second bar. And that's going to be a break-even stop out. So 2 break-evens, 2 wins on the Russell. Money management on the MNQ, 2 losses. This is our second money management trade there. Micro NQ still in this trade. Neil, look at it this way. If this green trade was the trade you would put in your spreadsheet when you're testing, why would you be taking other trades after that in your live trading just because you missed that trade? Yeah, well, it fired off at 11 seconds into the session, but that bar was 27 seconds. It was 30. Bar didn't close to 38 seconds. after the start time. Yeah, no, I understand you would have been looking at indexes, but if you're going to trade multiple markets, you have to be willing to let one go if it gets into a trade that you miss. Dale, welcome to the room. The trade plans that I'm using are all on the member sites for the particular strategies, and so I don't typically give those, since this is a public trade room, I don't typically give those trade plans out, because if you don't have the strategy already, then it doesn't matter. But it's a mix of the micro Russell, the micro NQ, our catapult, E-mini strategies, the crude, unleaded, the YM, and the pound Aussie, when I have full data, are all spotlight, and soybeans is counterpunch. But all the trade plans for those are on the member sites. The crude and unleaded plans are basically default plans from there. Soybeans counterpunch has been something we've been using. It's a 5-tick momentum bar, or 1 1/4 point momentum bar for TradeStation, 5-tick range bar for NinjaTrader. All right, folks. Yeah, I've been using it for roughly, since I started trading futures back in about 2015. From Troy's perspective, with the way he develops, I think TradeStation is probably the better tool for him. But for me, and my particular situation with brokerage, NinjaTrader was the way to go, and I've been very happy with Ninja. There are things that there are features in both that I miss having some of the features that TradeStation has. But Ninja has other features that TradeStation doesn't, so it's a trade-off. but they're both good platforms. But those are the two major platforms that Troy strategies are programmed for. So those are the primary choices for Backpacktrader strategies. Some of them will work on MT4 and on Thinkorswim, but they're in both cases it's a somewhat limited feature set, because it's just they're not as powerful a charting platform, or at least not as powerful for external programming. And of course the issue on MT4 is, unless you use add-in programming on top of MT4, the only thing you've got is time-based charts. And all of these charts are either Renko or Renko custom TradeStation custom Renko, or range bar charts. About the only time we use time-based charts is for swing trading. Or at least for Troy's particular systems. But that's basically it, unless there are other questions this morning. There is no default Renko on NT. Or, well, actually, yeah, there is. I don't believe there is a default Renko on NT. I'm using Unirenko, which is a free bar type, but it's a custom programmed bar type. But I've set it up so these particular charts correspond to the TradeStation custom Renko charts. These are the micro Russell M2K is a 1.5 point or 15 tick brick with a 5 tick offset. So it's 5 tick on Unirenko. It's 5 tick trend, 10 tick offset, 25 tick reversal. The micro NQ is a 12 point or 48 tick brick size with a 12 tick offset. So it's 12 tick trend, 36 tick offset, and 84 tick reversal. That's how those two are set up. Crude is an 8 tick range bar. YM is a 14 tick range bar. Soybeans is a 5 tick range. The pound Aussie is an 80 tick range, which is 8 pips. So that's how these are all put together. But yeah, the Renko bars there are several programmed Renko bars for NinjaTrader, but there's not a default Renko in NinjaTrader. I don't think there's a default Renko. Let's go in and check to be sure. No, not there. Under data series. And I added the unit. Yeah, okay, yeah, they do have a default Renko. Yeah, no, I have not been using the default Renko because I'm using a specific offset or a custom offset. No, it's not default Unirenko. Unirenko is not included with NinjaTrader unless you actually go find it somewhere and install it. But yeah, the way I set up the bar on Unirenko is, as you can see, tick trend is 5, open offset's 10, tick reversal's 25. Okay, yeah, if you have, and it's a decent. There are some issues with it if you're trying to test some strategies, depending on how the strategy works. Testing Troy's stuff, since his actually plot the trades themselves, work just fine. Yeah, it's not a default that's delivered with NinjaTrader. You have to actually install it. But if you got it installed, that's what I'm using for these, because these are not standard Renko bars. These are a customized type. They're a brick size with a specific offsets. And for the micro NQ, it's, as I said, 12, 36, 84. That gives you a 48 tick brick size, 12 points, with a 3-point or 12 tick offset. Hey, you're quite welcome, Dale. All right, folks. Any other questions this morning? We're pretty well done with what's on the charts. You too, Jeff. I'm going to miss everybody in the Catapult Extreme boot camp this Saturday, but I am committed. Have a good one, Pamela. Okay. Another break-even trade on micro NQ, and we go long again. So we got a break-even on the short. So that was 4. 5 was another beautiful short. That's 3 winners. And we can take one more trade on the micro NQ on our trade plan. Let's see, what's that? Two losses, 1, 2, 3 break evens we can take. This is our last trade on the micro NQ. 2 losses and 3 break evens. And so I'm not going to try to follow that, but we will see everybody tomorrow. Remember, crude oil inventory report at 11, regular session at 9:30. We will see you tomorrow.